Hey everyone, we're Ryan and Kayla, and today we're going to share with you our Oasis of the Seas ship tour and cruise review. We're going to go over all the main areas on the Oasis of the Seas, as well as discuss some of the ports that we visited along the way, which was Port Canaveral, Nassau, and Coco Cay, and what we did there. Make sure to like and subscribe. We do continuous cruise content. We have some exciting cruises this year, including the Mediterranean and the Carnival Jubilee and the Utopia of the Seas, as well as one with Celebrity. So make sure to like and subscribe, but let's get into the Oasis of the Seas tour, starting with the Lido deck.
So the first thing we noticed right away on Oasis of the Seas is there's tons of color, the ship is super bright, and we loved that they had multiple pools. So they had one pool on each side of the deck, plus they had multiple hot tubs. One of the pools was actually like a sports kind of pool where you could actually pull your chair into the water, which I really like. They had a ton of hot tubs to sit in, and some of their hot tubs are actually on the top deck, which gives you these great views of the water. We actually spent a ton of time in those hot tubs.
Yeah, I was surprised that we were able to actually get in the hot tubs. Normally they're like in high demand, but I feel like we didn't really have a problem on the Oasis.
I felt like that's the case because there was a kids separate area for them to go to, plus they had slides, a ton of slides actually.
Oh yeah, this one in particular, like, it was pretty awesome. This is like the toilet bowl one you'll see here that I went and did this on one of the sea days. I highly recommend it. Now, they had 3 total slides, but this one, in my opinion, was definitely the best.
Mm-hmm. I think they call it the champagne bowl is like the nicer way of calling it, but yes, definitely a toilet bowl. It was a fun slide to watch people come through.
Yeah, we found that the bar service was actually pretty good on this cruise too. You didn't have to wait too long. They had the lime and coconut on one deck, and then there's another lime and coconut on the top, so I could really appreciate that.
Yeah, the only unfortunate thing about sometimes cruising in September and that off season is you do take the chance that you're going to run into some bad weather. For us, we ran into Hurricane Lee, which means that some of the days the pools were closed for safety, the slides were closed for safety. I mean, obviously you do not want to be in the pool when this happens, but honestly it didn't make or break the cruise. There was so many things to do on board that it wasn't a big deal.
I found that there was always something going on around the ship, so yeah, don't let the weather deter you all the time. Like, you can make the most of it.
It's also a really good way to save money too.
There's also like so much seating available on the pool deck. I really appreciated that. They had like some really cool seating outside the lime and coconut, little table setups. I really like this like new kind of amplification that they've done with all the colors and the seating and that sort of thing.
Even the solarium. So the solarium is like the adults only area, and normally it's really stuffy. It's inside. It's, you know, we always joke it's where people go to get COVID. But this solarium is insane. There's open air. There's like floor to ceiling windows. It's exposed. So you're getting a fresh breeze. They've got hot tubs, pools, tons of seating. They've got their own bar. And then the one thing that I liked, because, you know, we're from Canada, I like to get a tan. So there's also a whole outdoor area where you can actually go sunbathe. And then the best part about the outdoor solarium is there's actually this really cool piece on the edge of the ship where you can actually just walk straight out, almost over the side of the ship. And you can look both ways and see all the way down. You can see great views of the ocean or whatever port you're in that day.
Yeah, I was going to say the really cool thing about this in particular was when we were sailing out of Bayonne, and we had that beautiful, it was a bit poor weather, we'll get into this later, but I can imagine that it would be a beautiful scenery during a clear day. I really enjoyed that outdoor area.
But back to the main areas of the ship. So we've got tons of activities on board. You've got your mini putt. I actually tried the zip line for the first time, which went all the way across the boardwalk area, which looked scarier than it was. It actually went pretty slow, so don't be afraid to try this. It was super fun, super slow, but it was super high up. It was a really cool activity on a cruise ship.
Yeah, you did good. You had a good landing here, too.
I did. I tried really hard. It was my first time ziplining, so yay for me. And then there's other things to do on board, such as like the flow riders. I think on the ship they had 2 flow riders, one for like the knee boarding and one for those more expert people who can shred waves. And
yeah, we meant to get Kayla on the flow rider this time around, but we got that poor weather there at the end, so it was closed.
Ryan was able to also try out the Ultimate Abyss slide, which is the very top of the ship. This is the super cool thing, is there's a glass floor, so if you're afraid of heights, it's a little crazy. But he said it was a really fun slide. Definitely worth doing.
It's like full of lights and stuff going down the slide. It's a lot of fun. Quick way to get down to the boardwalk and get a pint over at Playmakers too, so that's a bonus. The only thing is you have to put all your stuff away before you can go down. So
Okay, and now we're on to what is easily our favorite place on Oasis class ships, which is Central Park. Honestly, rain or shine, you can enjoy Central Park. They have umbrellas at either end of the entrances for you. And it just honestly feels like you've stepped off of a cruise ship and you are walking through Central Park in New York City. All of these plants are real. None of them are fake. It is somebody's probably full-time job to keep these plants alive. They have an amazing wall that goes all the way up the side of the ship with real living plants. They have orchids, which I don't know if you've ever owned an orchid, but they are impossible to keep alive. It's just every detail that went into Central Park is truly breathtaking. We come up here on some of the warmer days because there's just this breeze that goes through and there's this air of having those fresh plants around that just makes you feel like you're not on a cruise ship. You really have to see it to believe it. And they also have a really great bar up here, the Trellis Bar.
as we make our way through Central Park, we come across Park Cafe. Now, a little tip about Park Cafe is actually you can get your coffee here with kind of skipping the line. You can get nearly everything that you can get down at the Cafe Promenade, but there's usually a lot shorter of a line here, so that's my tip. Just come up on deck 8, go to Central Park and get your morning coffee. They also have breakfast sandwiches and a snack around lunchtime. They also have like plenty of seating outside, so Kayla and I would often just get our coffee, hang out, and enjoy the scenery. A really special thing about Central Park is when you get all dressed up for formal night, you can come out and get your picture taken. So if you're going on a little special date night, it's a really nice little souvenir to bring back with you. There's so many like lights and it's well lit at night. It's very pretty. I'd definitely recommend coming to Central Park at night. All the specialty dining is located here, or at least most of it. We'll dive into the specialty dining a bit later, but just so you know, this is where it's located. Moving our way down through the other end of Central Park, we'll come across Vintages.
My favorite place.
Yeah, Kayla and I visited Vintages here and it was really nice. I had this like kind of Paris feel. We just grabbed a nice glass of wine, sat out in Central Park, had a little pre-dinner drink, and
People watch.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'd definitely recommend it. I know they do like a wine tasting thing here in Central Park for Vintages, but we've been meaning to get to it. We just haven't done it yet. Eventually, yeah. Okay, now time for the Promenade. I love ships with Promenade. I like the Freedom class and above. I just love having the area in the ship, an open area with all the bars and all the shops and that sort of thing. So the first stop is going to be the Bionic Bar. This is kind of like a fun once kind of thing. You can make your own drink. It's kind of, yeah, it's just fun in the beginning, but it's not something that we would do more than once, like per cruise, basically. And then right next to it, though, is a bar that we really like, and that's the
Rising Tide.
Rising Tide, thank you. Yeah, Rising Tide. So this is a really fun place to come get a pre-dinner cocktail. Very pretty coming up into Central Park, especially at night. They make some good drinks. It's never that busy because there's only like a limited amount of space on there, so you do get really good service on there actually. There's also a lot of events that happen on the Promenade, and on the first day, the embarkation day, I love this little balloon drop thing. They'll do this on your embarkation day, and this is a lot of fun. I think it's at midnight, so you just got to stay up late that one time, but it's definitely worth checking out. Kayla and I had a blast of balloons coming down, and it was a lot of fun.
Streamers.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
Everyone pops the balloons after.
They also have the white party that happened here, so it wasn't typically the white party that we like to see. Normally, like there's kind of like one by the solarium, or maybe there was like an after party that happened, but it was done here on the Promenade, and it kind of just felt like more of a dance class than anything, but Kayla's outfit was on point. Okay, as we make our way further down the Promenade, we're gonna have the Sorrentos here on the right, and I love a good Sorrentos here. So the pizza actually was really good. They were very fast at getting service. I remember one time the line like zigzagged all the way through the restaurant, and it actually went pretty quickly, and people are ordering like medium pizzas at a time. So
and they had gluten-free pizza for me.
Yeah, they really did. Now it was pretty like undercooked at the bottom, but
I don't even care.
they honestly did the best they could with
I'm just happy to have
making
it.
gluten-free. So across the street from Sorrento's, you have Globe and Atlas. This guy was really good. We really enjoyed the live music here. I'm not even sure if we vlogged it, but we had a really good time here, and we even bought him a drink and talked to him after, and he was really nice. So we really enjoyed the live music that they great to put on. It's either like Globe and Atlas or Bear and Bull, whatever kind of ship you're on, but it's a great place to come and just have a drink.
So now we're gonna pop into the Royal shops. We always make it a point to stop and look, and I think we've bought a few things once or twice, but honestly some of the prices are a little high. On this cruise we noticed there was a few affordable items, which is good. You can also shop the sales. They'll usually have racks and racks of clothing up and down the promenade as the vacation goes on, so you can usually get some pretty good deals.
Yeah, I usually like to spend like my onboard credit or something on clothes because it is kind of expensive, but they usually have the t-shirt sales at the end of the cruise. They're not bad.
Yeah. So as we make our way down, we're actually gonna hit up the Spotlight Lounge, which is where they held a few events. Honestly, I don't think the Spotlight Lounge was big enough for some of the events. Like the karaoke got super packed. They also did Family Feud here. People were actually feuding.
Yeah, there was almost a couple fights just because there was not enough room, and the Family Feud really wasn't done the way Family Feud is supposed to be done. Yeah.
Another cool thing about being on an Oasis class ship is that they do have a real Starbucks on board. So if there's something that you can't get at Cafe Promenade that you want from Starbucks, you can wander over there. Just know that it's not going to be included in your drink package. You will pay separately.
Next, as we go up one level, you can find the Schooner Bar. Now, this was typically a place that Kayla and I liked and then kind of fell out of love with it a little bit because there's usually not much going on and they have a couple trivias here and there. But on Oasis class ship, we really liked it because they came up with a new menu had amazing drinks. Kayla had been saying this for years that they just had all the Collins there before. Like the drinks were kind of lame, but here on the Oasis class, and I think moving forward on all ships, they have an updated menu. Great job, Royal.
Okay, so short elevator ride later, you are at Blaze. And so Blaze is where we did the comedy show. Great shows. Honestly, get there early because seating is super limited. They have a lot of reserved seating for, I think maybe suites and pinnacles. And then just across from there, Studio B. And Studio B is where you can do the ice skating. They have the ice skating shows, and then the best show ever, which is the Crazy Quest. Honestly, if you have not been to the Crazy Quest, you have to go. The ice show is amazing.
Yeah, I was blown away by the ice show. I gotta say, it's a definite C. And we skipped it because we were like, ice show.
We're from Canada,
but now it's
cold.
now it's a must see.
Okay, and heading up to the boardwalk, which is where, I mean, this is great for the kids, but you can also come here as an adult to feel like a kid. You've got that like kind of Coney Island boardwalk vibe here with the carousel. You got your dog house. You can come get hot dogs. Ryan and I actually rode the carousel because why not?
Yeah, not only that, but as you continue your way down the boardwalk, you start to get some of the restaurants. So on the right, we have Playmakers, which was honestly one of my favorite restaurants because I was a little weary about like paying more money for food when you're on the cruise ship and it's an all-inclusive. But the food here wasn't very expensive. It was maybe like $5 to $10 per meal, and it was very good.
And I'm talking gluten-free options too.
Oh yeah, the fries. Oh. Dang, those were good. And also, there's a really nice atmosphere, Playmakers at night. I didn't include it here, but we were part of like a football game. There was an Eagles game going on, and it was just a crazy atmosphere. It's in the cruise vlogs if you're interested. But it was a great place to play pool. There were times when it was busy and it was kind of hectic, but generally, great spot. And just across the street there is Johnny Rockets. Now, Kayla and I love Johnny Rockets. It's a great place. The breakfast is free, but it is an upcharge for lunch. I think it's about $15 for lunch now. It used to be cheaper and something I would visit, but I think $15 is a little expensive.
Especially for me, because I can only get fries.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the milkshake and the breakfast though. And as you continue down the boardwalk, it doesn't stop there. They have like little activities. I can see we played cornhole as a part of the Ryan and Kayla Olympics.
Yep.
You have to check it out to see who won. But and then they always had like some sort of event going on. They had like a little family kind of like, it was like a fair type feeling, right? With the music, they had the cotton candy and some bowling and those like arcades and the whole merry-go-round.
Atmosphere.
Yeah, the atmosphere was really good. And as you saw earlier when I came down the Abyss slide, here was the exit. Great way to enter the boardwalk, but like I said, you got to make sure that you don't have a lot of your things with you. Now at the end of the boardwalk, we have the Aqua Theater and also the rock climbing. So the Aqua Theater is actually a great show that they will hold. Hopefully, weather permitting, you get to see the full show. We didn't, but we still had a great time. Got some great footage. This show is awesome. Like with the way the ship's moving, I don't know how they do some of this stuff, but absolutely incredible. Definitely want to check out the Aqua Theater show. I know once we saw Hero. I can't really recall off the top of my head what this one was
I
called.
think it was Aqua 80.
Yeah, that sounds about right because we saw the Back to the Future guy dressed.
Yeah.
But yeah, great show. Definitely check it out. And
try not to get too mad when they can't put on the full show because it is super dangerous when they're doing those high dives and stuff. Like, you just want them to stay safe.
yeah, and underneath the Aqua Theater, one of the places I'd recommend you go check out. It's kind of hidden, so be quiet. But there's this like hidden seat area out the back, and it's a great place to just enjoy the wake and have a drink. Another couple random areas on the ship that we wanted to show you was the Casino Royale. For all you casino goers out there, I know a lot of you get your free cruises or discounted cruises because you're big Casino Royale fans, and you're either really good or really bad at it, and that's why they keep inviting you. But honestly, it was a really great casino. The bar was a big area. We didn't catch a lot of it because you're not technically supposed to film in here during operational hours. But a lot of slots, a lot of tables. Looked never too busy, so it's good. Seems like you can get whatever you wanted. Another great venue is the music hall. Now,
I love the music hall.
yeah, not only is it a beautiful venue, like as we walk through here, they got these big windows that you could see the ship from, but they have a little great seating area. So if you just want to come find a quiet place to relax or read a book, this is definitely a great venue. They also hold games here, so we did the 60 seconds or less, and it was a lot of fun. You just kind of good for all the people that signed up. It's pretty funny to just sit on the sidelines and watch, but they had one of our favorite events here, which is a silent party, and we had an absolute blast here. And then the other venue that we wanted to show you real quick was the theater. We didn't catch much of the actual theater itself, but they had the Cats show here, and that was great. It was a little long for me, but definitely worth checking out.
Definitely. Okay, now we're on to food. So we're going to start at the Windjammer, which is the buffet on Royal Caribbean ships. The Oasis of the Seas had a pretty big Windjammer. You can come here for breakfast, you can come for lunch, and you can come for dinner. They have a lot of options. They've usually got it separated out into like kind of salad, international dishes, your kind of like hot dogs, hamburgers, desserts. There's pretty much something for everybody in the Windjammer. Then one of my favorite options on board is El Loco Fresh. I like it because I can get gluten-free salads here. Ryan likes it because he can get burritos, nachos. It's open all the time right by the pool. You don't have to go far to get a nice little snack. You can make it as healthy or unhealthy as you want.
Yeah, I love all the little fixings you put on, all the cheese and the veggies and the guac.
And just tons of sauces.
Yeah.
Like tons.
Moving on to the main dining room. Now, Kayla and I only came here, I believe, twice on our cruise. That's because there's so many great options on the ship. But yeah, we had a good experience here. This is a part of the new menu that they've been rolling out. So this is our second time eating on this menu. The meals were exactly the same as we had on the Ovation, so I kind of knew what I was going to expect.
Portions were a little smaller.
Yeah, the service overall was pretty good. We were out within an hour, which we really enjoyed. Sometimes we got stuck in there for an hour and a half to 2 hours, but service was great. They try so hard. Make sure to tip them well. We had a great time in the main dining room. And just an honorable mention, we didn't come to the Diamond Club too often, but you can still get your typical setup. We didn't enjoy the location of the Diamond Lounge. I think it was like deck 4, kind of hidden.
No windows.
So no windows. Yeah, we didn't come here often, but they did have your snacks and that kind of thing. Next we have Portside Barbecue. Now I was really impressed with the food here. It's kind of a copy of Carnival's Pig and Anchor, but I really liked the atmosphere, the food that they offered there, and they even had live music. I loved all the decorations. Had a really great vibe to it, and it's kind of right next to El Loco Fresh, so that's the location. And the food here you'll see in a second, it was a lot. I couldn't finish it, and I'm ashamed to admit it, but it was like a whole chicken, a half rack of ribs, and fries, corn, and a great little dessert. It was a lot of food. I definitely recommend checking it out.
And a little Ryan and Kayla secret, go to the Vitality Spa. They have fruit smoothies, fresh juices, snacks. It's an upcharge unless you have the drink package, but honestly, those fruit smoothies, man.
Yeah, and you can get like protein powder and stuff in them too. So even if you're like going to the gym or just want to increase your protein intake or whatever, it's a great little spot. Definitely recommend it.
If you're hungry but you don't want lunch, grab a smoothie. It's honestly best tip.
Next we have the restaurant 150 Central Park. Now this is obviously in Central Park, but this was our first time here and we were really impressed with this. I had an amazing meal. Look at that. Oh my god. And great service. Royal does specialty dining so well. The food here was so good, and even had some like fried cheesecake at the end. It was just a really great experience. I'm definitely gonna come back to this 150 Central Park.
I was able to eat here. I got a cauliflower steak, and it was fire. Most people would see cauliflower on a plate and go, that's it. It was fantastic.
To me, it just looked like a big head of broccoli, but
It was
Kayla liked
really,
it.
really good.
Now we're sorry, but prepare to be hungry because next we got Giovanni's.
I love Giovanni's. Like, my family's Italian. I grew up eating Italian food, so I love anytime I could get gluten-free Italian food. Giovanni's just, and to quote Ryan from our vlog, Giovanni's just slaps. It's so nice because the restaurant feels elevated. You don't feel like you're on a cruise ship eating, and they don't mess around with food or portion sizes, okay? So you get those cheese boards, you get that fresh baked bread. The appetizers are, but honestly, by the time you're done your appetizers, you're ready to die. And then, oh wait, they come with more food.
Yeah, and not only that, they have, in my opinion, the best steak on the ship.
Yes, I've heard other people say that, so.
Okay, next we have Isumi. What's kind of funny is that they're all our favorite. We love Isumi as well. We come here every cruise, often more than once. And because they have offer the a la carte pricing and the meals are so generous in terms of their portion size, we come here a lot. And wow.
Like, I don't even know what to say. It's just so good. If you haven't been to Isumi, go now.
Yeah, and the drinks are really good. We did find in this particular restaurant that the hibachi was a little distracting from us having like a quiet dinner together. But generally, Izumi, it was amazing, and we'll be back 100%. I always get the same thing. It's so good.
Same. That brings us to the ports. So our first port was actually out of Bayonne, New Jersey, but we couldn't go to Bayonne, New Jersey and not go to New York City because Ryan had never been to New York City.
First timer.
Yeah, so I had to take him to Times Square, show him what it was all about, and we just did like all the typical kind of touristy things. So obviously we walked around Times Square. I took him to get a slice of pizza at Joe's Pizza.
Yeah, pretty good, I gotta say.
Then we actually walked from Times Square over to Central Park, and man, what a difference. You leave the city and the hustle and bustle and the noise and the honking, and you just enter this serene, quiet place.
Yeah, it's definitely the calm under the chaos. Like, I definitely get the appeal of being close to Central Park.
Yeah, it was great. So we actually went to see like strawberry fields, and Ryan got a feel for the real Central Park and not the Central Park on the ship.
Yeah, and then we took the train. I thought it was actually really easy to get around New York. I was kind of worried about this coming into it, but it was like $2.75 to like take the train, and it was
so fast.
and it was really
the
easy.
subway is fast.
Yeah.
And we couldn't come to New York, obviously, without stopping and paying our respects at the World Trade Center, which was very sad and very beautiful all at the same time.
Port number 2 we had was Perfect Day at Coco Cay. I love Coco Cay. I just think it's a stress-free, great little stop here. You get off the ship, you're already there.
Yeah, you don't have to book an excursion or like plan all sorts of stuff. Like, you just get to get off and you're there.
Yeah, we usually kind of stick to the same stuff, but this time we did something a little different. So you'll see. But we started off our day and we just walked on over to the Oasis Lagoon, got a nice little spot in the pool that we kind of go to quite regularly.
Yeah, we like to come to Oasis Lagoon first because especially in the beginning of the day, it's pretty quiet. There's not a ton of people. It's really relaxing. You come sit in one of those chairs, get a nice tan, and then just, swim over to the swim-up bar, grab a drink.
Yeah, and they got those Coco Locos coming out to you early, so get ready.
Yeah, there's no such thing as drinking too early at Coco Cay. The thing about getting here early is you can enjoy it while it's not too busy. As the day goes on, it gets a little busier. As you can see, we had 2 huge cruise ships here this day. It was insane.
So then we decided to head over to South Beach, which was the first time we did this. We'd heard about this like floating bar, and we wanted to go see if that was actually a thing. So they have like sports courts, a bunch of different stuff going on there. I think the snack shack is over there, but we just headed out to this like floating bar. It was kind of amazing actually. It looked a lot busier than it was, but when we actually got out there, it was kind of nice. They have all these like drink holders around the side, and we just kind of relaxed and just people watched. It was a great time out in South Beach.
Yeah, you can see people had these little like water floaties. You can rent them for the day. I saw people brought like some of their own floaties. It was just a vibe. South Beach was a vibe. I would definitely go back.
Yeah, so this brings us to the food. I got the secret chicken sandwich, and then Kayla went over to the, let's just call it the buffet. And it was kind of a windjammer setup. Like, they don't really, with Kayla's allergies, it's kind of hard to find something for her, but I think she made like a little burrito bowl or something for herself. And they have ice cream and that kind of thing there. So it's a pretty good setup, exactly what you'd expect at the windjammer. So luckily we had good weather that day, and that concluded our day at Coco Cay. And so we just walked on back to the ship, stress-free.
Oh my God, speaking of stress, it brings us to our Port Canaveral port.
We didn't know what kind of day we were walking into here.
We decided that we were going to try and do Disney with only I think we had a half day in port. So we bussed over to Magic Kingdom, not knowing that Animal Kingdom is so far away.
Yeah.
So we already spent most of our time just getting to Animal Kingdom. So we were very rushed. So we were trying to take our time, really enjoy the magic that is Disney, because they don't mess around with details, okay? Everything is intentional and gorgeous. So we rushed over to our first ride, which was the Flight of Passage, which was an Avatar virtual reality kind of ride.
And I wish we could have got footage of this because it was
amazing.
unreal.
It was so much fun. I would do it over and over and over again. But we were super tight for time, so we had to head right over to the Navi River, which is from Avatar. And
luckily, we got the fast pass.
I was gonna say, we were really worried about the lines, so we got a fast pass, paid the extra, which was super worth it. And this was amazing. The details on this river cruise, I'm gonna call it, were like nothing I've ever seen.
Really felt like you were in the movie Avatar. It was kind of wild.
It did.
And then this and I had to zoom in on this thing with my camera just to make sure this wasn't real, because I didn't know this was one of their most expensive
animatronics.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe it. I thought it was real.
It was amazing. And we were really pushing it, but I really wanted to go on the Kilimanjaro Safari, so we booked it over to Africa, where we got on a little trolley, had a super bumpy but amazing ride.
It was hard to catch good footage, but we seemed to get some nice shots. All these beautiful animals that we don't normally get exposed to. So it was really great safari experience.
Yeah, I like it because the animals are kind of living in their own little ecosystems. You're not getting super close to them. They're not being forced to be put outside. So I liked that.
Pretty cool how we saw a lion too, I gotta say.
Yeah, the lion was amazing. We even heard him roar and everything.
Yeah.
But then happy feeling over because it
was time to go.
No time to get back. So we literally ran for a bus that took us from Animal Kingdom back to Magic Kingdom. And then we had to run to catch the tram from Magic Kingdom to the parking lot. But then the tram wasn't working, so we had to jump on a ferry, and then somewhere in there, I think I tried to call an Uber.
Yeah, Kayla told me just go ahead, and I had to stop the bus, but we actually missed our timing there. Check out our vlog if you want to see the day, but wow.
The most stressful day ever, but honestly, it was so worth it. It was great.
Okay, the last port, Nassau, Bahamas. Now, a lot of people don't even get off the ship here, but we actually had a really nice day in Nassau, and last time we were here, they've really upgraded the port. Even just walking there, and then all these little houses gave a little Curacao vibe. They're all filled with shops that we didn't indulge in, but it was still nice to see the port upgraded. So we cabbed on over to Breezes, and we were really impressed with this. It had a great pool atmosphere, swim up bar. It was all very visually appealing. It wasn't busy at all. I even said at one point it had Nachi Cacombe vibes if you've been to Cozumel. But the drinks were good. The food was really good. I was really impressed with the food, actually. Just kind of like a side bar and grill. But
we basically owned the entire resort. There was 10 people.
Yeah, it started to fill up a little bit at the end of the day, but nothing to the point where you'd be disturbed by the amount of people. The beach was fairly nice. I think the water was too rough that day that we couldn't do any of the paddle boarding or kayaking or anything like that. But it was still nice to take in some beach views and kind of take a little walk out there.
Ryan's
overall,
always behind me taking photos that I'm not aware of, so.
Yeah, just doing my thing. But yeah, we had a great time here. I definitely recommend Breezes.
I was even able to eat here, which is, it's always hard for me to find something gluten-free, and this place was amazing. They had an amazing salad. I was able to get fries. The fries was in a separate fryer. There was just no stress for me to this day.
Yeah.
A little too less stress.
Yeah, Kayla had a really good time here, we should say, because as someone commented in her vlog, Kayla is the vibe, and she was just dancing on the way back. So good day in Nassau. I don't know if we'll be back because we like to experiment with different things, but great day. So that concludes our Oasis of the Seas ship tour and cruise review. We had a great time on Oasis of the Seas and made some great memories. And we were kind of just chatting, rewatching the videos. We have a great time watching them and creating these for you guys. So make sure to like and subscribe. And if you are Ryan and Kayla super fans, you can click join and join our membership. Get early access to videos for just a couple dollars a month. And we'll put the money back into cruising. But thank you so much for all your support and kind words. We got the Carnival Jubilee coming up in February.
In 28 days.
We got Mediterranean, Greece, Italy, Croatia in May. We have Utopia of the Seas in September.
World's biggest weekend.
And we have Celebrity in December. We have a busy year. We can't wait to share it with you. So make sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.
See you next time.